I'm Lance Yelvington for CyberCountry. Gary Morris is one of those artists, entertainers, that you can never really pin down as being in one specific genre or one specific entertainment venue, because his talent crosses a lot of different boundaries. In this CyberCountry Minute, he took the time out of his busy schedule to tell us what he's got coming up.
I took about 20 years off, and I thought the main reason I took the time off was because of what the status of what country music was, and it had moved to a real traditional format, and then of course about every 5 years it changes. But and during that time I pursued my other passions, which are outdoor, basically hunting and fishing. I'm an avid fly fisherman and bow hunter, and I started a little TV series called The North American Sportsman, where I went hunting and fishing all over the world, which is a pretty good gig. And
You're kidding.
Built a lodge in Colorado and outfitted. We brought people out to hunt and fish, and then the whole music scene started changing again, and then I looked at watched like the CMA Award show and the ACMs, and then watched American Music Awards, and I went, wow, maybe there's a place for somebody to sing a melody with a lyric. And so a couple of years ago I kind of started gearing up and looking at the possibilities, and now I'm out playing. I'm playing performing arts centers, and most of the dates I do alone, which was kind of an obstacle to begin with, because agents and buyers were looking to pay for entertainment by the pound. I mean, how many people do you have with you and all that? And took a little convincing to get it started, but now I'm playing anywhere from 500 to 1,000 seat rooms, and they're selling out, and the people are great, and I'm looking at 2 or 3 generations of fans, and I'm doing my own music, which of course includes the hits that I had back in the 80s and 90s, and then a whole plethora of new songs, because I'm a songwriter as well as a singer.
Which is one of the things that really about your entire career, you've had some of the best hits ever. I mean, iconic hits of the 80s and 90s coming forward. In that time, you've seen country music as well as pop music kind of evolve, kind of grow closer together, and now hopefully, from the looks of it, it's starting to diversify again and go back to country and, folk. How do you think the evolution has impacted you throughout your career? I mean, in different ways.
The evolution or the revolution or whatever you would like to call it within the music industry really has had no impact on me personally, but what it has said to me is that it's wide open to go in and do something. I know the few places where I've gone and performed that I've actually gone to a country radio station, they've begged me to do a record. Please do a record of what you were doing. Do some kind of record for us, because all of the records that we're getting now sound alike, and do something. So that's been encouraging, and I'm not really looking forward to going back and chasing the I need to be at the top of the charts dream. But I am looking forward to going out and playing, and I'm playing a lot in Texas, and Texas has its own music, of which I'm not a part of in a big way, that kind of red dirt music, but I certainly understand it, and I understand the audience. And so in terms of what's going on in pop music and folk music and country music, there are a few people that I really like, that I think bring great talent and great professionalism, if that's the right word, to what they're doing. And there's a bunch of it that's just crap, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, looking at what you've got coming out soon in new music, what do you think that you're probably coming out with?
Well, the operative two words in that is what's coming out, because that would indicate that a big major record label is going to release something on Gary Morris, and that's not happening. I don't really foresee that happening. Record companies are the world's most expensive banks for artists. I have a current record that's called Single Man that kind of covers a bunch of things, even social commentary that I think is really relevant right now, and love songs and some fun stuff. And I'm working on two different projects, which I hopefully will have done in the first quarter of next year. One of them is simply called Demos, and I've talked a bit about it. Oftentimes, when you take a song, you create a song, and then you go into the studio with people you know, and you create this demo to try to highlight what the song is. Oftentimes, in my opinion, the demo is better than the record. And the record, there's time constraints, there's a producer's opinion, there's an engineer's opinion, and then it's also formatted for a particular format. So there's some songs that I've recorded that have been actually records that I like the demo better than I like the record. And I just thought, I own a publishing company, and there's a ton of songs that I've sung the demos on that I like. So that's going to be an offering coming out, and it'll just be called Gary Morris Demos. And the other one is, because I play alone most of the time, with the exception of my Christmas tour, I go out just alone with a guitar. This record's going to be called 1+1, and I'm going to add an instrument. I have a great harmonica player that played in my band before I ever started making records, named Clay Kirkland. He lives in Denver, and I have some other friends that are extraordinary on their instruments. Some of them with names that people know, and some that they don't. And so I'm just going to add one voice to mine or one instrument. And so it won't be something that's made that will suddenly go to the top of the charts unless by some reason they lose their mind. But it will be something that I think will be interesting to the fan base that I already have.
Gary, how has technology helped you go around the big labels and get to your target audience? Because there are a lot of people out there that are your fans, and they would like to hear your music. And does technology make that easier?
Well, technology allows people to get my records right now, and YouTube allows. There are people. I encourage them at my concerts. Okay, you might want to turn your phone on and get this one. No one's heard it. Or let's everybody get your phone out at one time and let's take a photo and put it up on Facebook. What has happened with regard to radio in general is that most of the radio that is controlled by a few consultants, and they have a list of potential players, and that their records are what goes on the charts. And occasionally they break a new one, and that's great. that's the way the game's played now. So consequently, my fans aren't listening to country radio. My fans are listening to talk radio or Sirius, and they found Charlie Monk or Deborah Allen or Willie's Roadhouse. They found these places that are playing records back that they recognize, and I found that out the hard way by actually doing some promotions where I'm going in and advertising on country radio, and the guys that were spinning the spots didn't know the songs. It's like, well, I got to find my audience some other way. Technology helps with regard to that.
Now, why should a person, if they're out there, they see you come into town, why should they hit a show of yours? Why should they come out and see you?
If you want to dance, don't come. If you want to go somewhere and maybe be, I've always said, all the way back to when I was first making records, I think that a record needs to do one of three things. It needs to either move your mind and make you think about something, or it needs to move your heart and make you feel something, or move your feet. One of those three things. If it doesn't do any of those three things, it hasn't accomplished anything. And if you can make it do two of those three things, then you have a winner. And if you can make it do all three, I mean, it's out of the park. So I think a lot of the songs that I do when I go out and play, they mess with your mind and your heart. And so, yeah, my audience is, to quote one of our presidential candidates, it's bigly women. And so therefore, a reason for a man to come out is because there's going to be a lot of women there. And a reason for a woman to come out is that I might say something or sing something that stirs them, either brings back some memories. I tell you a funny thing. I had a woman come up to me after I played a show. It was in Prescott, Arizona, at a place called the Elks Opera House, a beautiful room. And she came up, I'm signing autographs, and she said, why doesn't anybody do a song about happily married middle-aged women? And I went, okay, where's your husband? He said, well, he's home. I went, there you go. And were you not at the show I just did? About half my stuff is about happily married people. The love she found in me. Leave me lonely. I've got someone back home. The wind beneath my wings. Those are songs that are about great love between people. So evidently she missed that, or I need to write a song that goes, hey, I found a 45-year-old woman that brought her husband to the show, and it was really great fun singing for him. Hi, I'm Gary Morris, and thanks for watching Cyber Country, and come see me at GaryMorris.com.